And welcome to the stream. Nobody has joined right now because we're not popular enough to have people join as soon as I start. Um, so before I begin the thing, I'm just going to be holding this. It's the Lego Harry Potter Elder Wand. Um, Looking at the screen, it is very laggy. It's like, wow. It's like maybe 20 frames per second as I see. Actually, no, maybe 10. That's just what I see on the screen. But like, I'm just going to ignore it because it's probably nothing. And so I'm going to move it over to the monitor that I don't use often and just look at here. Anywho, so I should also get my headphones on. Welcome to the stream. Now in this stream, it's going to be me telling stories and chatting with people if anybody ends up joining. So let's start off with the first story, why this stream was a pain to get set up. So for some reason, whenever I tried to activate the camera that I am using right now, like it would go to this one. I have this one plugged in. It's like I don't know what it's called. Like the teachers that have um, those cameras that like, oops. Yeah, it's plugged in, and it was for some reason automatically put on the setting for the stream. And then I was going to switch to this one, which is a 4K camera. But whenever I would try, it said error. Please try again. So then I'd click try again, and then what would happen is, it would just say camera is being used for other function, and I'm like, what other function? The only other thing I have open is Discord because it opens every time I try and use. Every time I open up my laptop, and so it was pretty stupid. So now I just realized. So like I have a USB splitter plugged in, so I've realized just press the power off button on the USB that has the tabletop camera or whatever it's called plugged into it. And so I just turned that off, so then it would automatically go to this one. Which is weird how it automatically goes to this one because the laptop does have a built-in camera and built-in microphone. So yeah, it's just a bit weird. Now, for a story. So I'm still in high school, and so one of my classes, science, biology, I had to, like, we were doing this lab where we had to put, I don't know what it was called. It looked like dish soap to me, so let's say it was dish soap. It probably wasn't, though. Although considering the fact that we made borax and we made slime one time and the teacher didn't really tell us what it was. So yeah. Sorry. I don't know what it is. Flu season or something. So, but like we were doing the lab, and I had to, like, one of us had to stay after class in my group, and so I offered to stay after class, and because like the bell rang, we didn't have enough time, and so I stayed after class, and I was in a bit of a rush, and so, like, test tube tongs, right? How when you squeeze them, they release, unlike normal tongs where you squeeze them and they become like better grip. Well, when I was carrying the test tube I had to carry over to another spot, I was like gripping too hard on the test tube tongs, and it slipped out of the tongs and shattered all over the countertop. And I was like, oh no. My science teacher cleaned it up, and surprisingly, she wasn't mad. I was kind of surprised, so I assume it happens often. But another thing is I had to take a picture of it, and I didn't get to take the picture of, like, I had to take the picture of the chemicals inside the test tube so that my group mates could write down what color it was. And so I just took a picture of the broken glass. Like, there was a bit of chemicals left in part of the beaker and the broken beaker or test tube, and so I was able to like get some essence of color. And so now I know to hold test tube tongs like this instead. Instead of this. Yeah. What else is there to say? Let me think of more stories. Oh yeah, here's one. I guess most of these are going to be school related. Freshman year of high school, I was sitting at breakfast with my friends, and they were having breakfast. I don't have school breakfast. But then all of a sudden the fire alarm went off. We all went outside. Everybody in the cafeteria went outside, did the routine that we were told to do, and then we went back inside. And I was like, they don't do fire drills at this time. And so I said that to my friend, and I was like, they don't do fire drills at this time. That's weird. Because, there wasn't a fire. And my friend had said that he thought he heard a teacher say, wait, no, implying that a little kid pulled the fire alarm because the kid thought it would be funny or something. I don't know what happened to the kid. This is just what I heard. So I don't even know if a kid actually pulled the fire drill. I assume a kid did, though. Now, what other stories do I have? Trying to think. This is mainly just going to be a story time talking about, there isn't really a topic. I'm trying to mainly do story times, but I'm also going to try and talk about some other things because I'm running out of ideas. It's I'm not really running out of ideas. It's more like there's so much to pick. What should I tell? You know what that is, right? So what to tell? I got one. So this one also happened the other day, and again, it is school related because main ones I have are school related. I've noticed I don't get out much, and so most of the interesting stories I have come from school. And I actually do have one that's not school related. I'll tell after this if I remember. So, in my science class the other day, the science teacher had said, to one student, did you just call me a bitch? She didn't say the word, she spelled it out. And I didn't hear the student call her that, but heard the teacher be like, did you call me this? And so then I later went to the my local diner with my grandma because I don't have a car, and she took me to get a haircut because, like I said, I don't have a car. And that girl who allegedly called the teacher the previous day, this was the day after, was working there, and I was like, I didn't know you worked here. She was like, yeah. And my grandma was like, you know her? I was like, yeah, she's one of my classmates. And she called the science teacher a bitch yesterday. And then she came over and was like, are you telling her about yesterday? I was like, yeah. I didn't call her. I didn't call her that. She just has her days or something. It's weird. I was like, maybe. I didn't hear her say the word. And then I was like, hold on. Didn't you call her I remember I was in a group with you a couple weeks ago. And didn't you call her a bitch there too? She was like, no, that was some other kid in our group. And I was like, my memory could be faulty. But then I realized, no. That's how I remember it clearly. And so I think that she was trying to lie a bit just in case if her boss overheard that she called the teacher a bitch. And would you want your boss to overhear that you called your teacher something? I assume not. Because it was a small restaurant. It's probably the size of my room here, 2 of my rooms put together. It's not very big. And so I was like, all right, man, all right. Didn't push it. I didn't push it, which I gotta improve on my social skills. Being autistic, having issues with social skills like that. My parents and family have thought I had ADHD, but I did a test and the test came back as negative for ADHD. So I don't know. I don't know. kind of like a puzzle that has, it's kind of like a puzzle, but all the pieces are the same color. No, that's just what I would think. What else? Oh yeah, that's right. I was gonna tell a story that's non-school related. Almost forgot. So I have older cousins. I have some cousins that are like they're 19, and they're twin brother and sister. And I was at their like family farm or whatever, and I was playing pool with the with my cousin who, like the male cousin who I'll call Jack. So I was playing with Jack. I was playing pool with Jack, and I can't remember why, but his twin sister who was walking into the bathroom, I can't remember why, but she had said, "Knock it off, or I'll shove that pool up your ass." And I was like, "Whoa." I guess I don't know her if she talks like that. And I was like, at least I don't talk to my brother that way, because like I have an older brother. He is 18, and it's like, whoa, I don't talk to my older brother that way. All I really do is nag him about not wearing a seatbelt. It's like, he doesn't wear a seatbelt, and I constantly nag him about it. So what other stuff do I have to talk? Those are like the main stories. All of these happened in less than a month between each other. These were all recent. What else? What? Actually, no. The one with the fire drill at that morning was freshman year, so not just like less than a month ago. That was a while ago. What else do I have to talk about? Here's some things. With the lighting, it's a bit too bright. If I turn down the brightness, you could actually see, like on my door, but I'll just explain. So, in Minnesota, winters are miserable here. And my roof is not very good. We actually plan on either replacing it or putting over it or something. Because my doorway leaks during the spring when the snow is melting. And this spring, it was so horrible. I joked saying I could take a shower in my doorway because like it was dripping that badly. So yeah, like here's another story. So there's also an outlet, like the top shelf there. There's an outlet. You can't see it because of the brightness of the light, but there's a outlet, and that was a socket that was there when we moved here. I was like, I'd like to turn that into an outlet, and we never got it done until a couple months ago. We had someone come over and test the voltage and stuff, and they were like, I'm just adjusting this. But we had someone come over and test the voltage to see if there was power, and there wasn't. But then something had, like, then we did something. It's a bit weird. But like on the opposite side of the wall is the second bathroom. We added that. And in the second bathroom, there's an outlet that didn't have power supplied to it. But we, like a month ago or whatever, got power supplied to the outlet, and somehow it got power supplied to the socket. So we put an outlet in there. Like, also, I don't understand why people just cover up the wiring. Like, they just put a plastic plate cover over the socket and nothing else. Because it's like, okay, it looks ugly. Why not put an outlet in there? And some people might say, oh, I'm scared of electricity and stuff. Yeah, I was too. But with the knowledge of the fact that if the breaker is off, I cannot get electrocuted, it helps a lot. And like, here's another thing. I've mentioned to like people how I want to get a computer one day that it has liquid cooling, and they're like, liquid? Wouldn't that damage the equipment if it broke? Or wouldn't that, like, if it froze or something, like the room was cold or you had it in your car during the winter? And I was like, yeah, but people also don't think about the fact that when you put in a new outlet, it could cause an electrical fire. Like, people don't think about that. It's a bit weird. What do I have to say now? That's really all I have for like ideas. Like, recently I've gotten like pretty into information on computers and laptops and stuff. And actually, 2 years ago, I salvaged hard drives from computers that my family had in the past. Like, I have the circuit boards. They are lying right here. The other parts I threw away. I don't know why I kept the circuit boards. Oh, there's RAM. Yeah, I gotta throw this away. I'm just not doing it now. Maybe I'll keep the CPU too. But like, hard drives, I find kind of interesting, like how they work. Originally, like before I knew about like this stuff, I thought that when someone said it had a spinning disk drive versus not a spinning disk drive, I thought it meant that it had like a DVD player or something. Like, for example, I saw this video on the Xbox One X, and it was saying how it switched to solid state drive, and I was like, I prefer the disk drive because then you could play games. But now I realize, no, disk drive is the type of storage. And I've wondered if I can get this laptop upgraded to an SSD. I don't think I can because it's from 2012. I would highly doubt it. I know it's running off an SSD. I don't even need to open it up to check or look anything online because it's bulky and it's noisy. So it is definitely running off an HDD or hard disk drive. An SSD is solid state drive. Like, solid state is cheaper, or solid state is more expensive, smaller, draws less power, and is a lot faster. So, yeah, big comparison. And also, like, I've also gotten into old technology. I've always liked antiques for a while. I just like haven't really done much about it. But I found old cameras that my grandfather had. They're sitting over there. I'm not going to go and grab them. But I've shown them off multiple times before. They are really cool. I like them. But then I also found out my grandpa had VHS tapes of of stuff he recorded. And I wanted to get a VCR so then I could like see what was like see what was on them. So first off, months prior, like I got my VCR in January of 2023, but months prior in August of 2022, I watched a video called "What's Inside a VCR" by the YouTuber Jared Owen. Highly recommended if you haven't seen it. It's very interesting. Now, that's where most of the information about VCRs came from that I got. But in the video, he'd mentioned you can get a VCR at a thrift store for like $10 or $20. So luckily, I didn't go to Amazon and get scammed. Like, seriously, don't order a VCR from Amazon. Like, the cheapest I could find was $70 when you could get one at a garage sale or a thrift store. You are almost likely guaranteed to find one. And I also just looked over at my second screen, which is my laptop screen. Like, this is the monitor, and it's slightly better with the lagginess. I don't know though. But like, I wasn't missing much with the VHS tapes my grandfather recorded. They were mainly just Fox News. Because, like, if you didn't know, VHS was originally meant to record, like, cable TV onto VHS tapes. Like, another thing is, like, entertainment used to be a lot more expensive. And so, like, it made video games not seem as like a premium version. Like, VCRs would cost hundreds of dollars, same with TVs. And so, like, you would spend upwards of, at best, $400 on a VCR. Let's say, I don't know, $200 on a TV, and like $60 a month on cable. That's a lot. And then DVDs came out. They were a lot. Buying the DVDs were a lot cheaper than buying a VCR or buying a VHS. But buying a VCR was a lot cheaper than buying a DVD player when they first came out. Like, they were $1,000. Like, I think it was Film Theory that did a video on like The Matrix being one of the reasons that the PS2 sold so well. Oops. Putting my foot on a basket that I have under my desk, like a small one. But like, yeah. But now, like, you could get a TV and a Roku for like $200. Entertainment has just gotten a lot cheaper over time. And video games seem to have gone up in price, but in actuality, no, they haven't. It's just like inflation that has made it seem that way. Because, like, I saw a video where it was talking about PlayStation consoles, and it said that the PlayStation 1 would have costed $570 in today's money. That's more than the PlayStation 5. So, now, I kind of went off topic. But I also recently this summer got an old cathode ray tube TV, or CRT TV, or those big box TVs. I say CRT because that is the technical term. That is the type of TV. But whenever I bring it up to somebody, they're like, CRT? What's that? And like, I don't blame them. I'm pretty sure, like even the people who grew up with CRT TVs didn't even know that's what they were called. Like, they're called that because it's a cathode ray gun shooting electrons through a tube at the display, or at the glass display panel. And it's also why you hear that, like the buzzing noise. I honestly think that would be pretty cool if they made 16:9 CRTs, though. And I guess most people don't know what 16:9 or 4:3 means. So CRTs are 4:3 display, and all modern flat screens, except for phones nowadays, are 16:9. Like, monitor 16:9, laptop 16:9, your TV 16:9. Well, phones are not 16:9. I can't remember what type of aspect ratio they are referred to as, but they are not 16:9 nor 4:3. Anyway, and I actually hope to get a vinyl record player. But like, those are kind of hard to find. Like, luckily they are being produced, which surprises me. Vinyl record made a comeback, but out of like the older technology ones, VHS, film cameras, CRT TVs, why was vinyl the one that came back? Like, my dad, he had said, I never thought vinyl would have come back, and I kind of agree. But like, I still want to get one, complete the collection. But also just see what all the hype is about. But like, vintage cameras with camera film, why hasn't that come back either? Because like, mainly camera film, like mainly film cameras, why haven't those come back? Because film can actually take better pictures than digital. And like, I will get up and grab my grandfather's cameras. This camera right here is the one that my grandfather used the most. It is from 1954. It is known as the Zeiss Ikon Contaflex. If I pronounce that wrong, I'm sorry. Now, I've seen the pictures taken on this. They are incredible. The pictures that my grandfather could take. He was an amazing photographer, and he also had a good camera. Now, another thing about it is the type of film. I've heard that Kodachrome is a good type of film, and so you probably use Kodachrome. And yes, I do know how to take pictures on an old camera like this. So let's, for example, take a picture of here with my light. And yes, there is film in here. I put film in here. One thing, though, is that a lot of cameras didn't have what's known as an exposure. I messed up. When taking the picture, I forgot to adjust the exposure meter. That was kind of a funny mishap. Talking about how I know how to use it, but then I use it incorrectly. Like, you had to use what's known as an exposure meter. Eventually, cameras had it that the exposure was automatic. with automatic cameras. But you had to manually adjust the aperture, which is how much light is going to be let into the camera. Pretty much all the cameras you buy nowadays are automatic. They will probably have a setting for manual though. But like, I prefer manual, honestly. Like, I'll never use it, but like, manual is kind of better because like, you know how like autofocus and auto exposure can be kind of annoying. I prefer manual by that, but I'll never use it. But like, you had to have a separate device on you just to adjust the exposure, and that was kind of annoying. And luckily, this one has one built in. Now, one of the other cameras my grandfather had, which did have a built-in exposure meter, was known as the Pentax K1000. The exposure meter did require a battery, but like those, I can't remember what they're called, but like they are very readily available. And adjusting the exposure meter would automatically adjust the exposure. So you didn't have to, like with this one, you have to adjust the exposure meter and then adjust the exposure. Well, adjusting the exposure meter will automatically adjust the exposure. But my point is, I've seen the cameras taken on this. They're incredible. And it's to the point where oftentimes I look at them and I'm like, those don't look like they're from 1955. Like there's this one photo I found of Neil Armstrong smiling in the Apollo spacecraft. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. You can't really see it well on the camera, but like this picture looks very good. Like this one looks a bit better. I think it's the same picture, just in either different resolution or a different exposure. I don't know. But like these look so good because like of film. And like the pictures that my grandfather took, they look amazing because of the camera, the film, and how they were preserved. They were in an airtight container in an airtight case in an attic for like 30 years before my uncle dug them out. And so like they weren't very faded. They looked very good. And like I did take pictures of them. Like I haven't upgraded them to actual pictures. They're color slides. And I did take pictures of them on the slide projector my grandpa had, but with the projector it kind of makes the pictures look a bit light colored and look like they're faded. But they're not. I assure you they are not, and they look incredible. And I'm not going to show them because like I don't feel like looking at my phone. I might have deleted them actually. But with VHS and CRT TVs, they don't have much benefits over modern conventional methods. Mainly VHS can record footage and audio onto VHS tape. Like every VCR produced can record footage onto a VHS tape. Doesn't matter what it doesn't matter what VCR it is. It can, because the VCR was originally designed to record cable TV, as I mentioned earlier. So, what else do I have to mention? Oh yeah, CRT TVs. They don't have pretty much any. Really, the only benefits they have in modern day is if you're watching a movie that was meant for a CRT display. Okay, picture on here froze for a bit. Like let's say I wanted to watch a movie like, I don't know, Back to the Future. Because it was designed for the CRT display, it would look best on the CRT display. It's kind of weird how it's like that, but it is. And I also got an HDMI to AV adapter for my CRT TV. Like I posted a video about that. It's pretty cool. And like, is it unnecessary? Is it unnecessary to have an HDMI to AV converter? Yes. Is it cool? Yes. And, and like I showed the adapter to my dad after hooking it up, and he was like, "Wow, that's really cool." But he was like, "You can connect your phone to the Roku, connecting your Roku to the TV, the old school TV." But you know what you can do instead? You could just do that on a normal TV. And then I thought, hold on, that cup holder that you installed by the toilet. No, seriously, installed a cup holder by the toilet. I was like, that cup holder installed by the toilet, it's pretty cool. It's nice that it pops up and closes and stuff. But you know what you could just do? Set it on the floor out of the way. And so, yeah, it's kind of funny. What other things do I have to say? I'm drawing a blank. Like yesterday, I tried to do a Minecraft stream. It didn't work because how I set it up and stuff. But if I wanted to, I could actually do a Minecraft stream right now. Because how I set it up is I don't have a capture card for my Nintendo Switch, and my laptop cannot run Minecraft. It can barely run Roblox. Roblox is usually a game I test to see if it can run games, and it can barely run Roblox. So, I know that if I try to run Minecraft, it'll fail. And I'm also moving this just to see how the audio quality sounds. It's also kind of weird. The headset I'm wearing is hooked up directly to my microphone. I originally thought that this microphone was expensive because it was $125. Out of all the equipment I'm using right now, besides the laptop, this is the most expensive. Also this laptop belonged to my grandpa, so I didn't pay for it because he did. And after he died, I got it. But this is the most expensive external equipment that I have that I'm using. And I was like, $125. That's a bit pricey, but it's a good microphone, I'd say. Okay, you didn't hear a word of what I said. I could have said something that would got me banned off YouTube, and you would never know. I didn't, though. Now, but then I heard a guy say, I have a $2,000 microphone, and I'm like, whoa, this is cheap then. But it's also I want to get a good proper desktop for gaming and for recording videos. I might get Streamlabs. I might download Streamlabs. Probably not on this laptop because if it can barely run Roblox, I doubt if it can run Streamlabs. And plus, it can't even download Windows 11. I tried. But also, here's one thing annoying. Android is so much more consumer friendly, and I am a slave to the iPhone. And the reason why is because most of my family is on iPhone, and I've been on iPhone for years, and so it would just be a struggle to use Android. And most of my friends are on iPhone too. I have 2 Android friends, although I don't have much friends. But I hate the differences between I hate Apple because they are just so greedy, and they try and keep you on Apple once you get an Apple. Android is better, though. I will admit that. As an Apple user, I will admit, hear he, me, Sizable Splash, aka Trevor, says that Android is better than iPhone. Because all the stuff it has, I'd love to get one of those folding Samsung phones. I'm gonna stick with Apple probably for I don't know, maybe the rest of my life, because I have most of my family on Android. Oh, most of my family on iPhone, so But yeah, really, the only thing that Apple has is FaceTime. Android, why don't you have FaceTime? That's what I'm wondering. Why do you not have FaceTime? It's just like, why? It makes no sense. Why? And oh, hey, I noticed someone joined. Hello. I'm just talking about stories and stuff. Okay, never mind, they left. So yeah, not really surprised my streams aren't too interesting, I guess. I remember being pretty ticked. Like, what was I just talking about beforehand, though? Can't remember. Oh, yeah. Android is objectively better. I have one final thing to say. I remember being ticked when YouTube made it that, like, on mobile, you could not stream unless if you had 1,000 subscribers. On computer, you could stream, and you didn't need to have any more. You didn't need to have like really any subscribers. Luckily, they changed that because I don't have 1,000 subscribers and I can, stream again. I don't know when they changed it. They had it for a couple years, I guess. I remember when they added it and I was ticked. So that's really all I have to say. Thanks for tuning into this video because I guess I'll on for a few seconds. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed what I had to say. I might do this again. I don't know. If this live stream after I post it on YouTube gets enough views, then I'll do another one. But I doubt that it'll get much views. Oh,